Them soup boxes are hard to pack.
Well, I don't eat soup.
In 2005, two young actors climbed into the freezing Canadian Rockies to shoot a love story Hollywood had spent 8 years trying to bury. One of them fell in love on set with the woman who would have his child. The other was so burned out, he had been thinking of quitting acting altogether.
I already promised I'll take the extra shift!
Fucking tell him you made a mistake then! God damn it, Alma! Alma!
By the end, they had made a film that lost the Best Picture Oscar in one of the ugliest nights in Academy history and quietly changed cinema forever. Here are 30 shocking facts about Brokeback Mountain.
Here I am. I had to ask about 10 different people on River and where he had moved to.
Stick around because the deeper we go, the stranger it gets. Hit subscribe. Number 1. It all started when a screenwriter sobbed at a short story. In October 1997, screenwriter Diana Osuna was staying at Larry McMurtry's home in Texas. A friend handed her a New Yorker magazine featuring Annie Proulx's short story Brokeback Mountain. 2/3 of the way through, she started crying. She sobbed through the ending. She was so shaken she had to sleep. Then she woke up the next morning and read it again just to make sure it hit as hard in daylight. It did. She and McMurtry started adapting it that week. The entire movie exists because of a woman crying alone at a kitchen table. Number 2, Pedro Almodovar was offered the movie first. Before Ang Lee, Spanish director Pedro Almodovar was offered Brokeback Mountain and turned it down. He later explained that he was worried about the creative restrictions of an American studio production and didn't feel he could tell the story on his own terms. One of the most celebrated queer filmmakers on the planet passed on, directing what became the most famous queer love story in modern cinema. Number 3, Ang Lee turned it down too, then considered quitting. Ang Lee's first answer was also no. He was exhausted from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and about to make Hulk. Then Hulk drained him so completely that he seriously considered retiring from filmmaking. What pulled him back was Brokeback. He called James Schamus and asked if the project was still around. It was. Directing this movie is what stopped Ang Lee from walking away from Hollywood. Number 4. Naomi Watts pushed Heath Ledger to say yes. When Heath Ledger was first offered the role of Ennis, he wasn't sure he was ready. At the time, he was dating actress Naomi Watts. They read the script together and she flat out told him he had to do it. Ledger later said that after reading it, he would have flown to Taiwan to meet Ang Lee just to be considered. Naomi Watts is the reason he stopped hesitating. Number 5. Ang Lee wanted to see the two leads together first. Rather than run traditional chemistry reads, Ang Lee sent Heath and Jake to a real cowboy camp together weeks before filming so they could bond in a rugged, unfamiliar environment. Ranch work, horses, rope, sheep, living side by side. Ang Lee wanted them exhausted and comfortable with each other by the time the cameras rolled. Number 6, Heath didn't actually need the cowboy training. Jake Gyllenhaal needed cowboy camp. He arrived a month before shooting to learn how to rope, ride, and act around cattle. Heath Ledger didn't. He had grown up on farms in Australia and already knew all of it. He went to camp anyway because Ang Lee wanted the two of them growing close before filming, not because he had anything to learn. Number 7, Anne Hathaway lied to get the role. When Anne Hathaway auditioned for Lorene, Ang Lee asked if she could ride a horse. She said yes without blinking. She could not ride a horse. She had never been on one. She learned entirely for the film, took intensive lessons after being cast, and did most of her rodeo scenes without a stunt double. She has admitted it openly in interviews since. Number 8. Anne Hathaway auditioned for the wrong role. Hathaway originally read for Alma, Ennis's wife, the role Michelle Williams ended up playing. After the audition, she called back and demanded to be seen for Lorene instead. Her exact words were, "I'm not Alma. I need to be seen for the other part." They let her audition again. She got Lorene. Number 9. Ang Lee got her The Devil Wears Prada before Brokeback even came out. Meryl Streep was considering Hathaway for The Devil Wears Prada, but had only Princess Diaries to judge her by. Ang Lee personally showed Streep a scene from Brokeback Mountain months before the film was released. That's what convinced Streep. Hathaway got Prada because Ang Lee played her audition tape for Meryl Streep. Number 10. The sheep were mostly fake. Ang Lee had a nightmare experience trying to direct real sheep on Sense and Sensibility. He was so scarred by it, he swore he'd never work with them again. On Brokeback, most of the flock is CGI. Ang Lee once said the intimate scenes were, quote, a lot easier to deal with than location and sheep. Number 11. Extras were told to cheer like the Flames won the Stanley Cup. Most of the film was shot in and around Calgary, Alberta. Whenever Ang Lee needed a rodeo crowd to look wildly overjoyed, the assistant directors told the local extras to react like their hometown NHL team, the Calgary Flames, had just won the Stanley Cup. It worked instantly. Number 12. There is no real Brokeback Mountain. The story is set in Wyoming. Almost none of the film was shot in Wyoming. The mountains you see are the Canadian Rockies in Alberta, mostly in the Kananaskis region near Canmore. Brokeback Mountain itself is a fictional location that Annie Proulx invented for the story. Fans still hike Alberta looking for it. It isn't there. Number 13. The Calgary Gay Rodeo Association helped make the film. Members of the real Calgary Gay Rodeo Association were brought in as technical advisors and consultants. Some of them also appear as extras in the film. Their input shaped how the rodeo scenes, the body language, and the coded interactions between men were staged. Number 14. The two shirts sold on eBay for over $101,000. In 2006, Focus Features donated the two flannel shirts worn by Heath and Jake in the film to a charity auction. The buyer was a collector and gay rights activist named Tom Gregory. His winning bid was $101,100.51. He described the shirts, still folded together on the hanger the way Ennis finds them, as the ruby slippers of our time. Number 15. The money went to a children's charity. The full proceeds of the shirt auction went to Variety, the children's charity of Southern California. A prop from a movie about impossible love raised over $100,000 for sick kids. Quick pause. If this is hitting, hit subscribe so the next deep dive lands in your feed. Drop a comment with the moment from this movie that always destroys you. Now, back to Brokeback. Number 16. The final shirt scene wasn't in Annie Proulx's story. The moment Ennis opens Jack's closet and finds their two shirts hanging together, his shirt tucked inside Jack's, like they're still holding each other, is one of the most iconic images in modern film. It doesn't exist in Annie Proulx's original short story. Ang Lee and his costume designer, Marit Allen, invented it during production. They needed a visual symbol of the entire relationship. What they came up with became the whole movie in one wardrobe. Number 17. The marketing team studied romance posters, not westerns. When it came time to design the promotional materials, the studio's marketing team was told not to research classic western posters. Instead, they were sent to study the 50 most romantic film posters ever made. Ang Lee wanted every visual signal to say love story, not cowboy movie. That decision shaped how audiences approached the film before they even sat down. Number 18. Heath barely opened his mouth when he spoke. That mumbled, closed-off voice Ennis speaks in became one of the most imitated performances of the decade. Anne Hathaway revealed years later that Heath told her he was keeping his mouth almost shut in part so flies wouldn't fly into it while they were shooting outdoors for weeks in Alberta. A performance choice fans have written essays about started as a practical decision about bugs. Number 19. Ennis speaks only 1,191 words in the entire film. Someone actually counted. A Across the movie's 2-hour-plus runtime, Heath Ledger's character speaks fewer than 1,200 words. It's one of the quietest lead performances in a mainstream drama in modern film history. Everything about Ennis is buried under silence. Number 20. Jake is the godfather of Matilda. Heath and Michelle Williams named Jake Gyllenhaal the godfather of their daughter Matilda after her birth. The three of them stayed close long after the film wrapped. That bond is part of why Jake has spoken so protectively about Heath in every interview about the movie since Heath's death. Number 21. Kate Mara played Heath's daughter and was almost the same age as him. Kate Mara plays Ennis's older daughter Alma Jr. in the film's later years. She was only about 4 years younger than Heath Ledger in real life. She has admitted she was a little nervous about calling a man barely older than her dad every day on set. Number 22. Michelle Williams named her daughter after the man she was falling for. Michelle Williams and Heath Ledger's real-life romance began on this set. When their daughter was born, just months before the film premiered, they named her Matilda Rose. The love story you're watching between Alma and Ennis is being filmed by two people who were falling in love in real time off camera when the cameras stopped. Number 23. The word Brokeback entered the dictionary. In January 2006, just weeks after the film's wide release, the term Brokeback was added to the Oxford Dictionary as slang, a movie so culturally huge that its title became a common English word within 30 days of coming out. Number 24. There is an actual opera version. In 2008, the New York City Opera commissioned composer Charles Warrenin to write a full opera based on Annie Proulx's short story. Annie Proulx herself wrote the libretto. The opera Brokeback Mountain premiered on January 28, 2014 at the Teatro Real in Madrid, Spain. It has since been performed around the world. Number 25. Annie Proulx's essay after the Oscar loss went nuclear. When Crash beat Brokeback Mountain for Best Picture at the 78th Academy Awards, Annie Proulx wrote a public essay so furious that it made international headlines. She called Academy voters cowards and rednecks. She dismissed the winning film as unimportant. She said the Academy had chosen fear over art. It remains one of the most scorching public responses to an Oscar loss in living memory. Number 26. 800 fans raised money to take out a thank you ad. After the Best Picture loss, more than 800 everyday supporters pooled together roughly $26,000 to buy an advertisement in Daily Variety. The ad thanked the filmmakers for, quote, transforming countless lives through the most honored film of the year. It's one of the only times in Oscar history that fans took out their own consolation ad in an industry trade paper. Number 27. The score won Ang Lee half his Oscars. The haunting guitar theme that carries the whole film was written by Argentine composer Gustavo Santaolalla. He won the Academy Award for Best Original Score. He would win the same award again the very next year for Babel, making him one of the only composers in history to win Best Score 2 years in a row. Brokeback launched the run. Number 28. Ang Lee said he wasn't afraid of the intimate scenes, he was afraid of the sheep. Ang Lee has been asked in dozens of interviews about the difficulty of directing the film's intimate scenes. His answer is always the same. He shrugs it off and says, the animals were the real problem. He described the sheep on this shoot as, in his words, harder than everything else on the mountain combined. Number 29. Heath Ledger's answer about playing gay was almost heartbreaking. When journalists kept asking Heath if he was afraid of playing a gay character, he had one repeated answer. He wasn't afraid of the role. He was afraid he wasn't mature enough as an actor to do it justice. He was 25 years old at the time. The performance would earn him an Oscar nomination.
Managed to attract such an abundance of talent.
Number 30. Heath Ledger died 3 years later. He never won his Oscar for this. Heath Ledger was nominated for Best Actor for playing Ennis in Lost. He and Michelle Williams broke up in the fall of 2007. In January 2008, he was found dead in New York from an accidental prescription drug overdose at the age of 28. The following year, he won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Dark Knight. He never got to hold a trophy for the performance most people who love him consider his best. His daughter Matilda has still never watched the movie her parents fell in love on. Michelle Williams has said she will let her watch it when she's ready. That's 30 facts behind Brokeback Mountain. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with whoever in your life can't hear that guitar theme without going quiet. Until next time, keep watching.